Good afternoon. My name is Kenya, and I will be your conference operator. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Sports Nutrition Conference Call. All lines have been placed on a listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct an interactive question-and-answer session. If you would like to ask a question during that time, simply press star then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. You will hear a tone acknowledging your request and a prompt to record your name. If you would like to withdraw your question, please press star then the number 2. I would now like to turn the conference over to Rhonda Dearborn. Thank you. You may begin your conference.
Thank you so much, and everyone, welcome to our WebEx on Practical Applications in Sports Nutrition, Sports Edition. We are very lucky today to have our authors on the call to speak directly to you about the new edition. My name is Rhonda Dearborn. I am the Executive Editor for Nutrition at Jones & Bartlett Learning. We also have our Senior Marketing Manager on the call, Andrea DeFranzo, who will also be speaking to you a little bit about some of the supplements that are available, the ancillaries that are available to you with this package. As you can see, the new edition is currently available. That's what the cover looks like. If you have not already received a review copy, your participation today will get you a review copy. In addition, we are recording today's presentation so that if you do have colleagues who were not available to attend the live presentation, we will be sending out a link to you after the conclusion of today's presentation, and you'll be able to disseminate that to some of your colleagues who would have liked to have been here today but were not available. And we do appreciate your time. We know how busy you all are during this time of year, and we hope that this is very beneficial for you. Without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to our authors, Alan and Heather.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heather Fink, and I am the owner of a company called Nutrition and Wellness Solutions. My background is I'm a registered dietitian. I have a master's in exercise physiology. I'm board certified as a specialist in sports dietetics, and I'm also certified by the American College of Sports Medicine as a health fitness specialist.
Hi, my name is Alan McKeskey. I'm a professor in the School of Physical Education and Tourism Management, Department of Kinesiology at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. I'm also director of their Human Performance and Biomechanics Laboratory. I hold an adjunct appointment at the School of Medicine, Department of Cell Biology and Anatomy, and I also serve as a research associate at the National Institute for Fitness and Sport here in Indianapolis. Before I get started, I just wanted to take a brief moment to thank both Rhonda and Andrea of Jones & Bartlett Learning for making it possible to put on this webinar and for Heather and I to get a chance to talk about our book. When we originally proposed the concept of this book, we targeted specific academic programs, those preparing students for careers in the exercise sciences or allied health fields, because many times these programs require only one class in nutrition, and as a result, ideally could use a book that covered both basic nutrition concepts as well as their applications in sport. We also wanted to provide a resource for nutrition professionals who already had the clinical training but were finding that they were increasingly consulting with fitness enthusiasts and athletes. As a result, our major target audience for this are undergraduate and graduate level programs in things like dietetics, sports medicine, or even some of the basic sciences, exercise physiology, kinesiology, athletic training, physical therapy, occupational therapy. And many of these academic programs are actually located in departments of nutrition and dietetics, food science and human nutrition, exercise science, departments of kinesiology, departments of physical education, health education, movement sciences. Based on our target audience, our overall mission with this book is to provide a comprehensive sport nutrition resource for students and professionals that focus on the practical application of current research findings and basic nutritional guidelines. In order to kind of help us achieve this mission, we basically have divided the book, at least this edition of the book, into two major sections. Section 1 covers the basics in nutrition. Section 2 gets into the specific application of nutrition in sports and sport and fitness. For example, in section number 1, we give a basic introduction to sports nutrition. We give overviews as to the digestive process and energy metabolism. We then give a thorough explanation of macronutrients, micronutrients, and water, and even go into discussion of nutritional ergogenic aids. In section 2, we cover topics involving nutritional consultation and weight management. We have chapters that provide specific nutritional guidelines for endurance athletes, strength power athletes, team sport athletes, and we also cover sport nutrition for special instances or special populations, such as female athletes who are pregnant or athletes who have diabetes, masters athletes or athletes on vegetarian type diets. And finally, we close the book, or close the section, number 2, with a discussion of careers in sports nutrition and how to become a registered dietitian. Within each chapter in both sections 1 and 2, we apply our mission by using real-life case studies. In fact, each chapter starts out with a case study that requires knowledge of the information that is about to be presented in that chapter. We present that first because we want to give the student a perspective as to why it's important that they try to master this information that they're about to read or about to study in that chapter. We also do things like wording section headings and subheadings as questions with the intent of engaging the student or the reader in active reading. Pedagogically, studies have shown that if a student reads with the intent of finding the answer to a question, the information tends to be better retained. In regards, as I mentioned earlier, we have case studies, and these case studies also provide opportunities for student discussion, which we hope will encourage our future nutrition professionals to actually take a team approach to educating athletes about their nutritional needs. And then finally, to help us achieve our mission, we incorporate current research findings into each chapter and help to translate them into usable nutritional guidelines, and we also provide example meal plans and easy-to-prepare recipes. Again, all in hopes of helping these readers and our students to practically apply what they're reading about.
So I want to tell you a little bit more about some of the features of the book that specifically address what Alan has just talked about. So we start off each of our chapters with the key questions addressed. So as he mentioned, we like to use those questions to encourage the purposeful reading throughout the chapter. And then we move into the You Are the Nutrition Coach. So that's the case study feature that Alan mentioned, that we hope the student will read at the beginning of the chapter, then work their way through the chapter, and then come back to the case study afterwards and read it again, answer the questions, and be able to fully apply what they learned in the chapter. The Fortifying Your Nutrition Knowledge feature are the current hot topics, some areas that are emerging in terms of the research, maybe not fully into guidelines, but some hot topics that we feel like the students should know about so that when they get questions about these new items in sports nutrition, that they have some knowledge and are able to answer questions about these hot topics. The Gaining the Performance Edge feature are our quick tips that we have in the sidebar throughout the chapter that give ideas of how to practically apply the information, quick tips on meal planning or how to work with an athlete. So just little tips that enhance their learning and enhance their ability to apply the information. The key terms are also in a sidebar. We have bolded them so they're easy to find and therefore easy to use to study for their exams, and also to make sure that some of those key terms really stand out to make sure that they know those as they're going through the chapter. The training tables have been one of our most popular features, and the training tables are where we have the meal plans, food selections, snack ideas, our recipes, So there's lots of training tables throughout the entire book. We then wrap up the chapter with the feature we call the box score, which has our key points, study questions, and then a long list of references for every chapter. So what we've worked hard on for this new edition is our new feature, which we called our Food for Thought. And these are activities that are, again, throughout the chapter that refer students to web-based workbook activities so that they can continue to practice, continue to learn, and continue to apply the material that we've covered in the chapter. So I want to show you some of the graphics of what these features look like in the book. So the Gaining the Performance Edge, that's the quick tip of how to apply the information. The training tables I just mentioned of lists of foods, snack ideas, meal plans, etc. And then the Food for Thought is the activity that they will find online. So with the Food for Thought, we put together a variety of different types of questions. So we have some short answer, we have true and false, we have some case studies, crossword puzzles. So a variety of different ways of getting at the material. The example that we have for you on the slide is from our first chapter that leads the student to go to the grocery store and actually get a food label to learn how to interpret the information on the label, find the information that would be important for them as a consumer, and then certainly as important as educating athletes in terms of nutrition. So some additional 4th edition updates. We added quite a few tables throughout the book, and this was looking at food sources. This was, as we mentioned, one of our most popular features in the book, and so we got a lot of requests for adding more tables, more recipes, more meal plans, and so we have done that. We've also created some tables that are summary tables. So we specifically put these in our carbohydrate, protein, and fat chapters that summarize the recommendations of what an athlete should be doing on a daily basis, before, during, and after workouts. So we have condensed those into some easy-to-use tables for the students. We obviously put in new fortifying your nutrition knowledge, since those are the hot topics, the current topics in sports nutrition. Those are always changing, and so we certainly added some of those new things that have been in the research and athletes are asking about and talking about. We put in some new case studies and included some real-life case studies of some of the athletes that Alan and I have worked with. And so those are fun. Not only you are the nutrition coach, but we've added some case studies throughout the chapter as well. And then we got some requests from our reviewers to condense a few sections on body composition and ephedra. So previously we had gone into a lot more detail with body composition and even talking about the methodology of how to go about the measurements of body composition. So that's the area that we've condensed. And then with ephedra, we had originally put in a longer section that really looked at the detail of ephedra's appearance on the market, usage by athletes, the concerns that we had, and then the process of it being taken off the market and so on. So we wanted to show that to kind of show how long this process can take and why the supplement industry is so different and why we have concerns. We've still kept those important pieces, but we've just made that section a little bit more concise. So I'm going to send it back over to Andrea to tell you a little bit about our new 5-star rating.
Yes, thank you, Heather and Alan. Before we move on, I wanted to share this fantastic review we just received from Duty's Review Service. So if you don't know, Duty's Review is at the forefront of book reviews within the health sciences, and they recently gave the 4th edition a 5-star review, indicating that the book was well organized and thoroughly discussed the science, the practice, and the epidemiology related to sports nutrition. They also gave our wonderful author team kudos, and we have this review available if you'd like to read more about it on our blog. So it's blogs@jblearning.com, and you can read a full review there. So I'll move on here to talk for a moment about our excellent teaching and learning package that accompany the 4th edition. So for students, we have the Navigate Student Companion site that provides a number of study aids and learning tools to help reinforce the key concepts that students are learning in the course. It includes a student workbook, which contains a wealth of additional exercises and assessments for students. It includes practice quizzes, web links to additional relevant information, an interactive glossary and interactive flashcards that help reinforce key terms, crossword puzzles, and also a BMI calculator, chemistry review, animations, matching questions, and a lot more. It's really a robust and useful student site. For instructors, we have an extensive PowerPoint lecture deck that includes more than 400 slides organized by chapter. There's also an image bank that includes the majority of the images and tables from the text. And you'll also find a robust test bank that has more than 1,000 questions that can easily be ingested into your LMS. There's also an instructor's manual that includes many learning objectives by chapter, outlines, discussion questions for in-class use, and also answers to the food for thought questions that you find in the text. I also wanted to make note of, for those students that prefer anytime, anywhere ebook access, the 4th edition is available on CourseSmart as an ebook at www.coursesmart.com. So now we can open this up for a question and answer session. If you have any questions, please let us know.
If you'd like to participate in the interactive question and answer session, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. You will hear a tone acknowledging your request and a prompt to record your name. If you'd like to withdraw your questions, please press star, then the number 2. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. Again, to ask a question, press star 1. At this time, there are no questions from the phone line.
Okay, well, if there are no questions, then I'd like to thank everyone for your time today. If you have any additional questions after today's presentation, please feel free to contact us at 1-800-832-0034 or by email at info@jdlearning.com. And again, we'll reach out and send the recorded WebEx along for any individuals you might know that might make use of this. And thanks again.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference. You may now disconnect.